Hi, it's your 5-minute friend Charles GP. We welcome you to the 39th edition of the program 5-Minute Talk, brought to you by Light to Youth, helping youth in their walk with God. Today, we are going to be looking at the big 3 life decisions, and we are doing this in response to Tiwa Safe's song Somebody's Son. So what are the big 3 life decisions? Coming at number 1 is the decision of salvation, or say our relationship with God. As people created by God, anything and everything that we do ought to be done unto the glory of God. Yes, anything and everything that we do, we should do them to glorify the name of God. But the sad truth is that many of us will only say with our lips that the most important thing to us in life is our relationship with God, but our actions show otherwise. We are enemies of God. We rebel against God. We do the very thing that God said He hates. So we are to make that decision. This decision is very much important because not only is it the first big life decision, it is also the foundational life decision from which all other life decisions come forth. Even the next 2 decisions we will be talking about depend on this decision. If we get this wrong, all other decisions we will of course get it wrong, because we won't get the best from life as God has designed it to be. The next decision is the decision of marriage or to be single. Yes, we have to decide whether we want to get married or whether we want to live our life in singlehood. So, deciding whether to marry or to be single for life, that has to be based on how we glorify God as married people or as single people. So we should ask ourselves, being married, would that make me more Christ-like than I would be if I was single? Or being single, would that make me more Christ-like than I would be if I were married? We should ask ourselves that very question. And then, if we decide to be married or we decide to be single, but remember, even if we decide to be married, from the time we decide to be married up to the time we will get married, we will of course be single, and we still have to practice celibacy. We still have to abstain from sex. Yes. So the next decision we have to make, the third decision, is the decision for people who have decided to get married. To whom? For people who have decided to be single for life. How? You have to decide. Getting married to this person, will it make me more like Christ? Will we together establish a Christian family? And then, if you decide to be single for life, how will you glorify God in your singlehood? How? How will you use your singlehood to the glory of God? You have to answer that question. It's very important that you answer that question. And just before I take a leave of you, let us look at a very great quote from C.S. Lewis. He says, "Put first thing first, and we get second things thrown in. Put second things first, and we lose both first and second things." He goes on to say that we never get, say, even the sensual pleasure of food at its best when we are being greedy. So we ought to put first thing first, second thing second. But our world, we are very used to putting second things first. So God should be the number 1 in our life. But some of us, we put God at number 2, number 3, or we don't even give thought to God. That's the truth. That is the hard truth. We've put other things at number one. It could be money, sex, power, or other things that we are just obsessed with, that we've made idol out of. It could even be marriage, or friends, or family. Yes, that's the hard truth. But we have to rethink and put things where they are to be. And God should be number one in our life. No matter what, we should always put God first. Thank you very much for being with me on the 39th edition of the program 5-Minute Talk, brought to you by Light to Youth, helping youth in their walk with God. I have been your 5-minute friend, Charles G. Peewee.